What is good, Lottery Stocks fam? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Today, I got some interesting stuff for you that we have to cover for GameStop. And coming into this week, I know a lot of us have been hit hard with this rug pull that the S&P 500 had and the overall market. And at the end, I'm going to basically explain how I'm setting up going forward and what I think is the smartest decisions. So without further ado, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We got to talk about GameStop. Can GameStop squeeze to its full potential while the S&P 500 is rallying? That is a big question because of Roaring Kitty's timeline. And I think we have a potential answer to that question and when it will come. So watch until the end, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, all that other good stuff. Let's get into it. First things first, taking a look at everything from a macro perspective, we have seen green in the S&P 500. The past trading day that we have seen, a lot of money flowed right back in on that dip buy opportunity, but was it a good dip buy opportunity? Coming into Christmas week, the stock market will be closed on Christmas Day as well as New Year's Day, and trading will wrap up early on Christmas Eve. Stock trading will end at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, December 24th after a regular session on Monday. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head if you didn't know the dates that the market will be open this week. This could be the beginning of a Santa Claus rally, and this could also be the last rally that we see in the S&P 500. First, let me bring up GameStop's chart. GameStop, we have been talking about this move back here, this melt up before the actual squeeze that we saw in January of 2021. I'm going to explain why GameStop could potentially get up to nearly $1,000 based off of what we are seeing. I'll try and take it step by step for you. Take a look back here at the low of the stock, April 3rd of 2020. Then once we got that catapult, January 12th or so, on GameStop, January 13th of 2021, you had about a 284-day window, bringing GameStop back to its low right here, tracking that 284-day window out to February 3rd, bringing the bars pattern. From this, I will show you the similarities. Before I show you the similarities, let's take a closer look at how the chart is actually trading. Well, here's something that we have been tracking. Several waves leading into this rally. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 before this breakout. First leg up right here, coming into GameStop. Let's take a closer look. Try and ignore the bars pattern that you see. Take a look at my green drawings that we see. Leg up right here. Keep in mind, this is also 140 days in from the low. Okay, this first leg up. This is 140 days in from the low. And I can show you that right now, just so that you guys are on the complete same page as I am, okay? Grab the low, 149 days in. The beginning of this, 140 days in, okay? The beginning of this trend line. GameStop right now, same thing. Date range back here. The beginning of this, 149 days. Start of this, 140 days, okay? The start of this green ascending trend line. Now that we got that out of the way, let's take a closer look. So we have this first leg up, second leg up right here. You draw one out, okay? Make this 2. Make this a bigger trend line so you can see it. Okay, next leg up, you come up, you draw another one out. That's wave 2. Same thing, wave 2. Another leg up right here. Coming a little bit higher. Another leg up, coming a little bit higher. That's wave 3. Wave 4 begins, and this one, you get a pop, you get a rise higher, and you get an inverted cycle, okay? Wave 4 comes in, get a pop, get a rise higher, inverted cycle, sell off. Okay, wave 4, right? At the end of this wave, coming into wave 5, you see double leg up, finishing wave 5 before getting this last move to begin a breakout January 12th, 13th. Okay, GameStop right now, after this inverted cycle, you get this double leg up. Show you a little bit closer. Double leg up, flush down. This is hopefully where you are beginning the January 12th, 13th run up. Now, this is one possibility. And this red arrow is just to mark another slight inverted part of the cycle, which you see right here. And this is essentially where we would be trading at. Now, what's so interesting about this on top of that is, if you don't believe me, taking this bars pattern, which also brings up this whole move from April of 2020, which nobody paid attention to, and just bringing it to a macro scale, here's what you see, okay? Same exact thing right here, this melt up right here. taking a closer look. Here's a low in the cycle. This is where we got the low in the cycle. We got a flush down. You keep going. Everything is playing out similar, if not to a T. Some parts slightly inverted, flag out, gap higher, melt up higher, right? Take a look, melt up higher, come down, inverted cycle. Ultimately, where does this bring you? Well, this would essentially mean a couple of things. First of all, we don't see the finishing move until February 5th or 6th or so, right? The first week of February is where we would technically be off. We could be off by this much, and actually this move takes us into February, which would just mean that you melt up more to above $40, come back down 33 before squeezing, right? Or obviously I could bring this in. We'll do that in a second. But ultimately, what would this take you to? Okay. This would bring GameStop right out of this channel, consolidate at 68 bucks, which is relative highs up here, right? Before actually breaking algorithms. And this is what it did back during the January squeeze, which would bring you all the way up to $853, 2,700% up from where we are trading at right now. This is just one possibility. Again, the bars pattern line up too perfect with the cycles. If hypothetically we were at where we are trading at now, bring this down. If we got this portion correct, this would also look good for GameStop. You'd come up, you'd consolidate between $46 and $58, which are key levels, okay? These are key levels before breaking out of the macro flag that we are trading in. And then you'd come all the way to about $600 as the cap. Those are two things that we would be watching. Ultimately, the deadline, right? Pay attention to this. The deadline is going to be around March. Now, if you take a look at the S&P 500, for the deadline for when this melt up is going to be over, the SPY's been doing something very weird. We talked a little bit about this consolidation period we saw up here and how it related to this. Now, we also said, since it relates to this, we could see an inverted second half where we come right into the 620 range. However, we didn't see that. We actually just played out the regular part of the cycle that the SPY has traded in. Now, what does this ultimately mean? Well, SPY is very interesting because it's playing out to a T, which is kind of scary. You came down, you got this little gap higher, another sell-off. You came down, little gap higher, another sell-off, before coming all the way up here, right? Getting some slight friction, which you see right here, past this peak, okay, past this peak, and then ultimately squeezing higher. What that would look like is our exact move right into this zone above 615, coming up maybe to 620, right? 623, one of those levels that I had. Based on this move, if you crush it to match, SPY could even go higher than that, slightly higher than that. Ultimately, this would be an insane Santa Claus rally leading into January, and everything would be squeezing. Now, what's interesting is if the SPY did this, would GameStop squeeze? Can they squeeze at the same time? The answer could be no, and the answer could be yes. If we took a look at Volkswagen, for example, this obviously inverted the market during the '08 crash. Volkswagen decided that it wanted to absolutely rip heads off, ripping over 3,000% as the market collapsed, okay? That could be the same thing as GameStop. If the SPY decides to melt up here and finish its melt up early January, that would be the beginning of the crash, and then GameStop would invert it. Same thing with AMC. If we looked at AMC, this is what we've been tracking. And what's so interesting about AMC is this is what we're tracking, right? AMC decided that it wanted to start its gapping up January 22nd to 26th, while GameStop started it sooner, right? The 12th to the 14th, it started it sooner. So GameStop is likely to see its gap ups higher, which make me think that you're not going to flag out to February, potentially, like we called out. We are at that perfect level, which is right here before we squeeze higher. That would ultimately mean AMC will follow shortly after. Overall, I'm extremely hyped going forward. We also saw a ton of dark waters come in for GameStop. Now, we obviously did have the OPEX and ETF rebalancing. We had quad witching, so don't pay too much attention to it. We also saw a lot of calls being dumped, meaning the fight at the $30 level will be absurd. They are trying to hold algorithms down. but what's happening with the market will be inevitable. If we take a look at what the SPY did back also during this period, right, just further matching our thesis, October 30th, so right into November, you saw that little bit of a crash on the market. What happened with crypto? Well, Ethereum saw a 13% decline from October 30th before its largest leg up, beginning that cycle. Bitcoin saw a 9% drop before one of its largest legs up during that cycle. Dogecoin saw the same thing. All of these cryptos saw these things happening. Now, Dogecoin and other memes are playing out something similar where they are collapsing and coming down to crucial support levels that ultimately we didn't think they would get hit until the bull market was over. Well, you sold off and you based off of the first one over here on Doge, and many of them are doing this right at 26 cents. I think the best buying opportunity would have been if we got to 22 cents, and I think a lot of people mapped that out. They are still showing signs of weakness, but if the market decides that it wants to squeeze, you're going to see the same thing, especially in these memes. And what you're going to see, like after October 30th on all of these plays, is the largest leg up. So you're going to see the largest leg up on the SPY. You're going to see the largest leg up on these meme cryptos, and it's going to be the last leg up, okay? Bonk recently had a nice move, and that is because it got listed on Robinhood, and now it's showing more weakness again. XRP showing a little bit of weakness, breaking below this parallel channel, but it's holding up better than a lot of other cryptos, still trading above $2.20, which is insane. Speaking of XRP, they decided that they are going to donate $5 million to President Trump's inauguration. I thought this was extremely funny. Why Rumble stock is plummeting this week, posted by the Motley Fool. Then you come over to Rumble and it's up 50% after hours, right? 55% or something like that. Rumble announced a $775 million investment from Tether, and they are absolutely ripping heads off. So keep this one on your radar coming into the week. Now, on top of our thesis, what's also interesting is the government shutdown obviously was averted. It always is, right? Biden signed a bill that averts a government shutdown and brings a close to days of Washington upheaval, which could be a major catalyst, quote unquote, coming into Monday where everything pumps because the government shutdown's off the table. Now, the deal funds the government at current levels through March 14th. Remember when I said that March 14th was the deadline for all of this? This is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? If you see something like this where you actually start to climb again and then you end up playing out the same pattern, you're going to lead that crash coming into March, especially if GameStop doesn't want to, have its rally until you finish out this flag pattern, which comes into February, right? Then you're going to see them invert. You're either seeing them invert here or you're seeing them invert back here. This is it. This is just what I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover this for the week. But what am I ultimately prepping for? Well, I have puts that I'm down on. I have calls that I'm down on the SPY. I have calls that I'm down on GameStop. What I'm saying right now is I would like to be open pre-market for Monday. I would like to be open when the market, I would like to be up for pre-market Monday. I'd like to be up for market open Monday. And I would like to see just the beginning stages of reactions. And I would like to close most of my positions and sit on cash and see what is going on. If I see some bullish momentum and no catalyst for very, very negative sentiment on the market, I'd like to go long on several things. I would like to more than quadruple my call positions on GameStop, and I would like to swap into calls on the SPY, and I would like to load up on these memes, okay? But right now, the SPY is testing a resistance level, and I think it all comes down to the SPY, right? If the SPY gets above this ascending resistance level, which is basically above 595, but that's really not the level, that's just where I start looking bullish. Once we get actually above 600 again is where I take position, okay? So during this time period, I am watching for a fake out between 595 and 600, okay? At that point, if we get above 600 and close above there, you're closing above the 200 EMA. You're also closing back above structural support, and then things will start to get frothy. That is what I'm looking for. That is it, guys. That is what I got for you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We have Christmas this week. So even if you lost money, remember what's important. Enjoy the time with your family. Get closer to the Lord. It is a beautiful weekend. That is it, guys. Join the Discord. Come talk with me on the daily. Come see my trades as soon as I take them. We talk stocks and crypto in there all day long. We also have dark pool trade alerts, option sweep orders, insider trade alerts, market news, and more. So it's a one-stop shop. You have no reason not to get in the Discord. Come level up, guys. There are no bad questions. I don't care if you just started trading or you've been trading for 10, 20 years. get in the Discord. If you want up to 15 free stocks, each valued up to $2,000 per stock, use the Moomoo link. It's a free broker that keeps your money insured and safe. And once you deposit into there, you can trade with that money or withdraw it completely free. But use the link in the top of the description, open an account through them. They should approve you and then make a deposit. I don't care if it's $1, whatever you want for the bonus, $100, 5 stocks, more than that, more stocks. And they're also giving you up to 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash, level 2 order book data for free, access to trading options, going long, going short, viewing other exchanges, and more. So go do that, guys. Check the other links. I love you all. Lottery Socks out.